Okay, so our class, color theory. Let us see here. So this class is from last time, the materials. I already discussed in last class in detail what we need to get. Now today, class 2, we are actually going to start with the theory about color. Because this class will include knowledge, theoretical knowledge about color and practical application of color. So we will have lectures. I explained this last class, of course, also. We will have lectures and then exercises based on the lecture that you need to do. We also have sketch folder or sketches. These are for extra work that you do based on what you learn in the lectures. So it's like additional work to the homeworks you do. I also showed last class examples of these. When we have time, you can still look at them later on. But today we start our first theoretical class, which will talk about color in general. We will not specify any direction specifically. This is for later. This is a general lecture about what is color, okay? So, we will cover these topics. So, what is color? The importance and effect of color in design, and some general historical, psychological, and social connotations, which means meanings of color. A lot of this I will not go over today, but during the semester we will get to know what these are. Today we will start with, so what is color? Okay. Let me see here if it's clear enough. Okay, so what is color? Now, color does not really exist. The colors that we see, they don't really exist. It is just an illusion of color. Because color is a visual perception. Visual perception means something, an interpretation of the world that the eyes tell you. Your eyes, the brain, interprets what you see. And the colors, what you see, is what this interpretation show you. Now, to see color, we need light. Without light, we don't have color. So if everything becomes dark, all color disappear. They don't exist. So to see color, we need light. Now, light, or let's say the white light, include all the colors inside it. The white light interacts with the object. So the light comes in contact with the object, and what is reflected is what goes through your eye to the brain and gets interpreted as a specific color. About this we will talk about more next class, about the mechanics of this, how it really works. But this is in general. So white light hits an object, reflects a certain color. This is what you see after it gets interpreted by the brain and the eye. So anything wrong in this process, your eyes, for example, don't have good vision. This will affect the final result of how you see a color. So what I see may be different than what you see, or have slight differences. Because color, as we said, does not really exist. It is just a process, this kind of process that happens. If we remove the light, all color disappears. Look at this example. So, the type of light source, the type of light, can influence the color, of course. So if we have a specific light hitting an object, look, this is the same object. Just the light is different, the type of light. So what you will see in terms of colors will be different as a result. Look at this object here. This is the same objects under what? Different light source. Each time we see different colors. Here we see orange, here green, here red. So which is the correct color? So the colors we see depend on the light, 100%. So if we change the light source type, the result of the color is different. Look at these objects here, the same. This is red, this black, this yellow, this green. What's happening here? Okay, look at this. So, how we perceive and feel about colors depends on the type of light source that come in contact with the object. So, let us see more examples here. Look at this, for example. A red apple. This is the same apple. So what's happening here? Here, white light hits the apple, comes in contact with it. What do we see? We see red and green. But if we look here, the white light have all the colors inside. But if we remove this and change the light source to only red light, this is red light, what will happen? The red touch the apple, reflect. Yes, we see the red color because this is red, but the leaves become black because the component of the light source that is green does not exist here. So we don't see this color. Look at here, green light. Now we see the green leaves, but the apple become black instead of red because there is no red component in the light. Here, blue light. There is nothing blue inside this apple, so all of the apple become black for us. So, type of light that hits the object, gets reflected, this will affect how we see the color, what color we see. Let's see more examples here. So, different lights. Here is an interior, and with the different lighting, how the interior changes. Every design have color in it. So it depends on the light. Sometimes you see the colors differently. This is very important. As you can see here, warmer light, how the colors in the interior are. And then we have these cooler lights. The colors change totally. So, this is important. Why? Because let's say you're designing something under a certain light source and you're choosing colors and you think, okay, this is perfect. Then you go under a different light source and see, oh, my colors look different now. It's like the whole design looks bad all of a sudden because the colors are not the same. So when you design something, the light type under which you design must be a certain type that will show you the correct colors. And this is not easy, okay, to achieve. As a designer, color is a very important part of design. It's an element of design, a major element of design of every design, because most designs that we see, interiors, products, anything, have color in them. So if you choose the wrong colors, it's not good, okay, for the design. More examples of interiors. Now, sometimes the light source with certain colors are used as part of the design, as part of creating, let's say, certain beauty of the design, aesthetics. As you can see, these lights, the way they are placed, it is not random, not by chance. It is directed so that the end result will have not only to see clearly, but also how the light interacts with the color and what effect it gives us. This can create beauty. So if you're designing an interior, the location and the type of light source will not only affect the colors you choose, but also the entire experience of this environment. So if we just change the lights and put other types, maybe the whole interior will look totally different. So be careful about this component. color is very important, as I said, and color is basically a communication. Every design you design communicates to the viewer something that you, as a designer, planned it to communicate. So if you choose the wrong colors, the communication will be different. So correct choice of color is crucial in every design. Color is what, this is very important here. So color is a very powerful tool in design. It can create attraction. So I can put a certain color in a design in a certain place to attract the viewer to it. It can create emphasis. I can emphasize a certain area of a design. Emphasize means the viewer gets, again, attracted to a specific point in the design by choosing specific color. And color can show identity of a design. A lot of brands you see out, they have colors, but these colors are not chosen randomly. They are not chosen because the designer likes this color, or, oh, this is my favorite color, let me put it in the design. This is not what's happening. It is specifically chosen to create, to communicate to the viewer the correct identity of a specific brand, okay? So these colors are chosen very carefully in a design. So, when we talk about branding and logos and this kind of stuff, it creates a type of recognition. So if you choose the wrong colors, people might not recognize the brand. So for example, you cannot, as a designer, go to a company and say, okay, let me make a new design for the logo or the company brand. You cannot do it, because this is an identity. You cannot change an identity just because you like it, okay? This identity, maybe some companies built over many years. Some companies, let's say, are 50 years old with the same identity. So when they change the identity colors or anything about, let's say, a logo or this is a very careful step-by-step process done very carefully. Not a new designer to come and just, oh, let me make a new design and let's get on with it. No, it doesn't work this way, okay? So the color choice, because we are focusing here on color, the color is very important also. Part of this identity. Color also influences our mood and emotions. Every time you see a type of color, even without consciously recognizing it, your mood and emotions change according to the color you see. So if you see a red color, very different than if you see a green color. Something in your brain interprets, let's say, for example, the green is a cool color, the red is a hot color, warm. It interprets these two in a different way. So give you different feelings and emotions. This is very important. So if you choose a color in design, you have to understand what the viewer, the target group of people what kind of emotions will get reflected. And this is again part of communication. All this is communication, okay? The emotions are also part of the communications. So color is what? A language. So if you choose a color, it is like a language, like written information, like spoken information. Color is a language. It's part of communication in design, okay? So, and this language, which is color, can influence our perceptions, how we view things, how we feel about things, and then it can influence your behavior, what you do, and basically your action after that. So for example, I go to a store and I see a product which have certain colors. Maybe I will feel like, oh, I need to buy this product. Or, opposite, no, I don't want to buy. And this actually happened. There is an example with an orange juice from the past. A designer designed the packaging of the orange juice black, fully black. And it affected what? Customer behavior. behavior and action, because people don't want to buy orange juice with a black packaging. It's just something is not right about the communication. Something is not making people not comfortable with it. So this is an example, okay? So you have to, what you're trying to communicate with the language of color must reflect your intentions, and the color choice can sometimes destroy what you want to communicate. Okay. So, here are a few points that I will cover. The effect of color in design. So, when we choose a color, what effect it has in design. So very short, I will cover a few points and show examples. So, guiding attention, navigation, hierarchy. So what do we mean here? It guides our attention through a design. For example, if we see this composition, notice all of the objects are the same size, the same object, nothing different about the shape. The only thing, the color. So here, immediately our attention goes to this bright object. This is what we mean with guiding attention. Now, if you open a website, for example, and you look through, and then you see suddenly buy now in red. Why they put this red color buy now? Because they want people to buy something. So to see the color, the red is like very drawing of attention. Okay, it can very quickly draw your attention, and of course, if it's also a big size, and the placement where it's placed, it can all make the viewer immediately see it and go to it. Okay, so this is the intention. But let's say, for example, if we have a website that looks, all of them are calm or cool colors, and then the buy now button is also the same colors, you will not see it. It's difficult to see, but if it's a contrasting color or bright or very strong, like red, yellow, immediately the attention go to this spot, especially if it's different than the rest, okay? So this is very important here, that color choice can guide the attention. It can also help navigate hierarchy, navigation and hierarchy. So every design have a hierarchy. It doesn't matter if you design a poster, a website, everything have hierarchy. So it means there is information that I should see first, second, third. So number one importance, number one that I need to see, number two, number three, So this is the step by step. What do I need to see? When you look at a poster or a website, it's not designed for you to see everything at the same time. It is number one is this, number two is this, so it's designed to be seen like that. So for example, a title. This is a title. Why is it made bigger with big font? Because you need to see the title first, then go to the text. With images, with illustrations, the same thing. Where you place something, the size of it, the location, everything matters. So, when we choose colors for our design, this can improve the hierarchy or destroy it. Okay, so you can have the best design in order, everything perfectly designed. But if you choose the wrong colors, it can destroy how we see the design. So the color is very important. Where you put what color. So, number 3, conveying meaning. Every color have specific meanings that is generally common among all people. So, for example, traffic lights. Everybody know how to behave. All over the world, the same thing used. Red for stop, this wait, and this go. Everywhere, the same. Why? because this is how we interpret these colors, and it's standardized for all over the world, the same. If we see warning signs, anything warning have always very strong, very bright colors, red, yellow. So this is again, everywhere humans interpret these colors in the same way. So each color have specific meanings. Now, it's not so simple because we have thousands of mixtures of colors. When we say color, it's not always pure color. It's not always pure red, pure yellow, pure, for example. No. It can be mixtures, so it can become complicated, the meaning. But still, this is why color choice for a design is not an easy thing. But here we are talking in general about color. So colors have meanings. This you need to understand. Okay? What are the meanings? This later. Color can evoke emotions and engagement. Now, this is true for all designs. But here, as an example, this is what here, an application on the phone for a bank. Okay? So if you see the color choice used, it's cool, it's quiet, it's not shiny and too many colors. Look, it's just variation of one color. It's very calm overall. When you say banking application for a bank, it's a serious application, not something designed for example, for children. Okay, because everything for children include a lot of colors, bright colors, especially when we are talking about toddlers and babies and this kind of target group of people. Here we are talking about adults, a serious application, so the colors must be according it. Okay? Now if I take this and change the blue and put red on it, what will happen? It's going to look, something is wrong here. Okay? It will not look a serious application anymore. Only because of the color choice. So this is here important. So colors influence how people feel when interacting with a design. This is very important. Here, more examples. Look at these brochures and business cards and compare with this. This is correct and this is correct design. We are not talking about what is correct and what is wrong. There is no correct and wrong in design. Everything is correct and every design is wrong. It depends what are you designing it for. So for example, if I'm designing for children, these colors, this type of design is more suitable. But if I'm designing brochures for a company and it's supposed to be something serious and professional, I will not choose these kind of colors. Now, this design here will become wrong. Here it's correct. So, depends on who are you designing for. Who are the target group of people? What are you trying to communicate with the color, okay? Just the color. Forget about the text and all the other things. The color communicates alone, communicates something to the viewer. After that, of course, how it's arranged and how it's designed with other shapes and other elements of design, of course. But the color itself, just select the wrong colors, everything will be wrong. So, color can also enhance readability and usability. What do we mean with enhancing readability? Well, if we choose the wrong colors, sometimes we cannot read information properly. And when we say wrong color, it's not only the color for example, the text. No, sometimes there is background colors. Background, foreground. So sometimes the background color and the foreground color, together with the size of, the font and so on, can make it not readable. So here, this example, the same text, the same size, but just the color differences. So as you can see here, impossible to read, impossible. Because if we don't have enough contrast, then readability decreases. For example, here we have high contrast, very clear, the text. Look here, background, foreground. Here the contrast decrease. Look at this, not clear here, but here again good contrast. So white text on dark background, here dark text on light background, okay? Now, this being said, it doesn't mean this is wrong or this wrong, this is correct also. But it depends where are you using it. So for example, sometimes in a, let's say a poster, we have a lot of text, titles, subtitles, main information, secondary, third information. So if you make your design everything high contrast, this is not good because you will destroy the hierarchy, the order. So to create this order, what do I see number one? What do I see number two? We need to vary sometimes the contrast. So if I make, for example, the title high contrast, the most important text also high contrast, but then we have some not so important text. Still, I need to have it on my design, but not so important like the title or the main information. Then we can decrease the contrast for it. And this can happen in many ways, with many type of colors. So when we say that high contrast is readable, this doesn't mean everything in your design has to be this way. But you see where you put it, for what reason. This is what makes it correct or not correct. And there is endless possibilities, okay? Endless possibilities of what colors to choose. So this is here not easy in a design, to choose just the right colors and the right color combinations. And it becomes more complicated when you have several colors in the design, not just, for example, a design just black and white or just one color. No, if you have more colors, it becomes more difficult. So you need to be more careful. So, another important point is building identity and connection. Consistent brand colors must be recognized, not only recognized, but give you the correct information. Also, there is other things here that are important. For example, if you notice, like, you know, restaurants and fast food places, everything that's related with food, with eating, you will see a lot of these colors used, red, yellow, bright colors. There is a reason. There is a reason why these are used in these logos here. When we talk about food, because psychologically, they make people want to eat. So they make you more hungry than if you see a blue, for example, color. So this is a psychological reason. And we said that color can influence your actions. So what you do. So if you see these colors, everything is designed in warm colors in a restaurant, it makes you more hungry. You see here how subtle sometimes color can influence the user. So when you choose a color for your design, you need to understand how do I want the user not only to see and feel about my design, but also the behavior. What I want the user to behave in a certain way. If you're the owner of a restaurant, you want the user to go inside the restaurant and order food and become hungry. But if you choose blue and green and cold colors, it will not happen that easily. In addition, the identity, very important for every type of brand. So any of these, you cannot just go and change the shapes, change the colors. You cannot do it because this is an identity. When we see this, we know this is Apple. You cannot now go and change it, okay, to something else easily. It must happen through a long process and it must be studied before it can be applied. So this is very important. Here, another example. These are what? Tools. Tools. But notice what's common among them. The colors. All these tools belong to the same brand, Bosch. Now, notice the colors. Blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. Everywhere the same colors used. Because this here is the identity of this company, this brand. So anywhere I see a tool with these colors, from far away, I know, oh, okay, this is Bosch. Okay, immediately. Because they know their quality, what they offer, and they want people to see their brand colors from far away, from anywhere. I don't need to only read the logo. I see the brand on the product itself, the brand colors. So let's say, for example, they employ a new designer and they have new ideas and want to change these colors. Not allowed. Nobody will allow you because you're changing the brand identity here. So you see, color is related to a lot of things. So choice of color, changing of color, everything has to be studied very well. Any decision made has to be studied. And also, color serves as standardization, a way to standardize understanding. So, again, when we see a certain color, for example, what is this, an emergency button? So these are products, okay? These kind of things we will see in cars, in devices. Also there is color, everywhere is color. So if we see an emergency button, it's always like red. It stands out, you see, among all the other. Every time there is a danger, we see again this color. When you drive a car, you will see all of this. So for example, you forget to put your seatbelt on, this starts shining red, you know, do it. So there is a reason for these color choices. You see the color or the light. You see here buttons, push buttons, and lamps. What color these lamps also have? You know, like for example, sometimes you see shining lights behind certain buttons, or certain information shines up. These have also colors. Okay, this is the same thing. With light or with actual pain, they have meanings. You see here, red, danger. Push button, red means stop, for example, okay? And we have other colors, many colors. This is just as example. Color and the meaning, okay? So this is important. We cannot just go and start changing colors, because every color put here have a meaning. Why this is white, why this red, why blue, why green, why yellow, everything have a reason. More examples. Now, we are talking, our focus in this class is color. But, for example, the shapes also have meanings, okay? So, for example, if we say round, a circle have a meaning. Look, shapes and meanings, and color. So, we have a shape, we have a color. So if we combine, for example, a circle with red color, like this, for example, or like this, or like this, there is meaning to it. But if we take a circle and we change the color, it can mean totally different things. So it's like the shape plus the color change the meanings. The shapes have meanings, the color have meanings. So if you combine this, there is a result, okay? That tell us something, communicate to the viewer. So it's very important. Now, of course, shapes is as important, the choice as color, but our class is focused on color. So if you choose even the correct shape, but you choose the wrong color, the message will be wrong. So this is important to keep in mind. Now, quickly, we will talk about a historical connotation or meaning of color. Now, in ancient civilizations, from ancient civilizations, color was important. The meaning of color. We're talking about the meaning, okay? So, for example, the Egyptians, you can see a lot of blue color used, because blue they had a stone here which symbolized the divine and the eternal. And it was a blue stone. And you can see it also applied in a lot of the clothing, a lot of designs, because this, for them, in history, symbolized something very important, okay? Very holy. Now, in the Romans, the ancient Romans, you can see a lot of purple, this color, because this ink in their time was very expensive and very difficult to make. So, only the rich people can afford it. Of course, only the very important had this color, so this color became a symbol of, oh yes, if you're wearing, for example, clothes with this color, you must be a rich person or someone very high up in the system, like emperor or someone very important. So, also for religious uses, certain religions in history and now use certain colors to symbolize this. So if you notice in Islam, in Christianity, they have their specific colors that they use. There is a reason for that, okay? So in Islam we can see a lot of green being used. In Christianity we have this gold and blue, and so from history till today this continues. So what is this important? Color have also a symbolic meaning, symbolism, and how you interpret it in part is based on what culture you are from. So if you're from a specific culture, you see a color, you will interpret it in a different way than someone else from a different culture. So this can also influence how we see and how we understand colors. In other classes, you will study about art movements, okay? The major art movements in history. And if you notice, here I will not talk about the art movement, but it's about color. Basically an example. So in the art movements even, you can see specific colors used in a specific way. For example, this movement was called the Impressionists movement, and this is a famous artist, and he emphasized on natural light and color. So all of the paintings he's doing is expressing the natural colors in nature with natural light from the sun. So all of his paintings based on this. And the color choice here very important. You cannot see this person suddenly drawing like this, okay? His color choices are very specific. Now this is here the Bauhaus, another art movement. And they focused on not only very abstract and simple shapes, but also the basic colors. So you cannot see a lot of variation here. You can see the basic colors. Red, yellow, blue. Look, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, blue. And black and white. Black and white are not colors, but only these color choices. So the very basics, basic shapes, basic colors in all their designs. And this doesn't include only, let's say, a poster or a picture or an illustration. No, even products. Like if you look at the chairs during this movement, the same colors used, and the design very simple and abstract. So actual products, okay? So it's important. So if I see a product, I can, if I know about the art movements, I can tell from which period it is, which period it has been designed, or which art movement the artist or the designer has been influenced by, if it's designed now. So just by the color, okay? Just by the color choices. And of course, psychological connotations of color, of course. When we see a color, we already talked about it. It can have emotional impact. So it can influence our emotions, our perception, the way we understand what we see, the color, and our behavior. So this is very important when you're designing products. or anything, interiors, posters, packaging. It's important because the color influence have emotional impact on the viewer, and the perception and will change the behavior. So for example, some studies have shown that warm colors increase your heart rate. Cool colors reduce stress. So, color can influence memory, attention, and purchasing decisions. Because all of this is business, you know, packaging, advertising. What is this for? Business, money, okay, all of this. So if you choose the wrong colors for a business product, what will happen? The behavior of the people will change. So look at this, what is this shampoo, or like it looks really fresh and nice. Now put it red and yellow colors here, or change the colors, and maybe nobody will buy it because it removes the message. The message is that this product is about clean, about freshness, about all of this. But if this message, psychological message, connotation or meaning changes, maybe I will not buy it. It's like with the orange juice example. Look at these energy drinks. Look at how the packaging is showing energy. It's energetic, and this is a trick to influence the buyer. Now, if I design these packages like this, it will not look so energetic, and it will conflict with the message I'm trying to give. Okay? Again, signs, symbols, everything. Okay, safety with green, red with danger. All of this influence what we see. Color sometimes gives us the information without too much explanation or text. Look here, only an E and an F. Enough. Empty, full. So, and look at the color choices. Again, from green to more to become red. So the color gives you the information. You don't need to read the text. This is just more examples. Now we have emotional meaning of color, cultural, and so emotional meaning of color, and cultural meanings, and product categories. You see, we already explained a little bit that depending on what culture you are from, you can interpret the meaning of the color a little bit different. And we will talk a little more after this slide about it. And also product category. So here, for example, this versus this. This is a different category product. This is again about energy, about, okay, it's full of sugar, this product, but when you buy it, you don't think about, okay, this is just full of sugar and chemicals. It's actually bad for you. You see it as an energy drink, something positive. And the colors of the packaging make you want to drink it. It's red, it's attractive, okay? Now, look at this product category. It's another category. It has a different meaning. These are health products. All the health products, when you see them, they use calm colors, natural colors, because when you say a healthy product, it should be natural. It should be, not chemical and filled with sugar. It's a natural product. So to make the user see this as healthy, the color choices must be very specific. Now, this can also be a trick sometimes, because sometimes you see this and you think, oh, this must be a health product. But if you read the information, you will see number one ingredient, sugar inside, again, which is not so good for you. And other, maybe less chemicals, but still it might not be healthy. But how does the brain interpret the colors here? And the design overall, the shades and the colors and everything, it makes you feel, oh, this must be healthy. While this is about energy, about, so different meanings. This is correct, it's just a different category, okay? This is just an example of the many meanings of color. You see here, not every color you design with is pure, full saturation. You see here, for example, this is red, but this is less saturated and less saturated. Orange, the same here, less saturated. So the same happens when you mix colors. So when you mix one color with another, you get many, many other colors. And this is what this class we will see through practical exercises. But the meanings change. So for example, if we look at this, have a slightly different meaning than this. Here, this one can have, so the meanings change with each variation of color. So this is what makes it even more complicated, you know. And lastly, the social meanings of color. Now, we already talked again about this, that, you know, people from different cultures can see colors in a different way. So for example here, there are some examples here I gave you, with certain colors, blue, red, violet, and so on, yellow, and positive connotations, negative connotations. So positive meanings, negative meanings. For example, the color white. For you, maybe it have positive meaning. White, what does it mean? Immediately, what comes to mind when we see white? Pure, positive color. You know, it's not a color. White is not a color, but the white makes me feel of purity, of white, because I'm from a certain culture. So here, for example, if you get married, your dress is white, because it should basically mean that this person is pure, getting married, and so on. But if you go to China, for example, you will not see a white dress for wedding, because the white for them means different, means something different, means death, something about spirituality. It have a totally mourning, so sadness. So you cannot put a white dress for a wedding there. So this is a different culture, different meaning. So the same with many other colors. Okay, so you need to be careful as designer. Who are you designing for? As designer, you're not designing for you. You're designing for a target group of people. So you need to understand their psychology. Who am I designing for? If I design for Chinese, very different than for Jordanians, for example. But to know this, you need to understand many aspects of design, many aspects, and to study, make research about the target group of people to understand what colors suit them. Not every color works with everyone. Oh, this is just example of the previous slides here with pictures. Now, with globalization, because nowadays, you know, traveling has become easy, internet, everything, we can see from any place of the world what happens. And so the world has become more mixed, more, we can see and understand about different cultures in a very easy way. The colors also have become that many colors are used internationally for the same meaning, which is related to standardization of color, okay? So if you go to another country, you will see the same colors used for the same purpose. However, there is still cultural meanings applied. It's not deleted. You know, when we say we have globalization, doesn't mean the cultures have been deleted. You can see still differences. So if you go to, as I said, now go to another country, you will see there is something different about the designs, the color uses, and depending on what culture it is. If you go to India, if you go to China, if you go to everywhere, you will see different, something different. So we are focusing on color, of course, so the color choices used. You will see some people, for example, dressing with a lot of colors, very colorful clothes. But if you go to another country, you will see what's going on here. Everyone the same color. If you see North Korea, for example, Everybody dressed the same way. The same style, the same colors, everything. You will not see colorful clothes at all. Everything gray, black, white, very, very simple, you know? So this is what I mean, depend on where you go. If you go to India, oh my God, everything colorful, everything. Here, also, you can see mix, because there is mix of culture. You can see very simple colors, professional, and then you can see some people put a lot of colors, especially for parties and for these kind of things. So again, we have cultural, the cultures are not deleted, even with globalization. However, for important things, there is standardization of color. Everywhere the same color means the same thing, okay? So, this is enough for today. General explanation about color. Next time, we will talk about more about color in more detail, okay? So, let me close this. Okay.